The Sacral Chakra. I'm wearing my fluo orange t-shirt for the occasion. So the Sacral Chakra is 2 inches below the belly button. It is a feminine chakra linked to water. Dominant feminine, but it has its own feminine in front and masculine in the back if you're right-handed. We talked about this. The sacral is linked to sexuality, creativity, pleasure, intimacy. When the sacral is underactive, locked, vibrating at 190 most of the time, in pride, in fears, it means that we are disconnected from that energy center, disconnected from our creative force, from our sexual energy, from embodying our energy field in the body, because the second density is the density of movement, of the whole animal kingdom. It's embodying the soul in a physical body. So dancing helps a lot the sacral. When the sacral is underactive, can be a lot of emotion because it's the primary emotional center. Emotion are like energy in motion, flow, mainly linked to water. So most of the emotion that we trap are linked to the sacral. The primary emotion that I see often is shame, guilt, blaming, humiliation, frustration, fears that affect the kidneys that are in this area, dread, which is fear of the future, and there's many others. Follow the PDF of this lesson and you'll see more details about all the emotion of a sacral underactive. When hyperactive, it vibrates between 125, 150, 160. It means it's like widely open but weak to take energy from others. It is coming out of pride. It's someone that needs to prove itself most of the time through its sexuality. Very, very common in men, where they try to take sexual energy. They try to feel their sense of worth through their sexual performance, through how many women they had sex with, and etc. It is also very common in sexual coaches, tantric coaches, where they try to subconsciously heal themselves with their career. And when the sacral is hyperactive, we have overwhelming thoughts about sexuality. We think it's because it's our personality, it's the way we are and everything, but it's really linked to the fact that the sacral is hyperactive because we trap pride linked to a bunch of heavy emotion linked to maybe both parents in the sacral. So again, when a sacral is or chakra is hyperactive, it's really because we trap harsher emotion. Our life situation as a child was a bit harsher, maybe 2 parents living the same emotion of guilt, and we trap this and it's stored in that area, and it's just heavier to release. The sacral is our creative center. It means that 50% of the life force is stored there. So the animals that they go in hibernation for winter, like the bears for example, they eat a lot and they store everything in their stomach that they can survive all winter. Well, it's the same. We eat, everything stores there in our powerhouse. In this powerhouse, the second brain, we can use it to not keep that energy at the bottom and move, but moving it up. So we do this with the microcosmic orbit. We're going to practice this in the practice section. It is basically taking a big breath, visualizing this orange ball of energy in the sacral, inflating fully the belly, pushing down to the pelvic floor, and then contracting the pelvic floor and moving up that sexual energy. And I can move it where do I want. So I can move it into the heart, move it in front, move it into the throat, move it in front. I can move it all the way to the crown and then circle it back to do a circular breath where it becomes just one breath. There's no stop in between. It's very like one big breath. And when we breathe to the mouth, it's a breath that allows us to connect more with the lower chakra. When we breathe to the nose, it's a breath that allows us to connect more with the higher chakra. So when we do that breath, we use the mouth mainly to go pick up that sexual energy. And this practice is very, very powerful in sexual intercourse. If we want to last longer, for men especially, if there's too much tension here and we're hedging at 80% about to ejaculate, we can pull out or just relax inside, and then do 2-3 breaths like this and move up that sexual energy, and then all that tension there is gonna move up, so we're gonna be more relaxed. We're not gonna need to explode. And then once we're able to combine this breath as we are orgasming, well, we can bring that orgasm not only in the genital but everywhere in the body, and that's when we start having full body orgasm. So there's 2 ways to do this. It's really like the moment that I'm feeling some kind of like energy moving, I'm doing it, and I can start having like a body shake. That's what we call the multiple orgasmic men. It's multiple tiny orgasms happening here and there as energy is moving strongly all over during the sexual intercourse. And the other way, it's ejaculation, where I'm about to explode, I'm about to ejaculate, but as I know, just before, I contract strongly the pelvic floor, and then I do the breath. And it's very strong like that. So the ejaculation doesn't go out, I don't lose my semen, because if I lose my semen, I lose my life force. It takes 72 hours to rebuild. 300 to 400 million sperm get lost each time. That's why, like, when men they ejaculate, they just want to fall asleep. They lost all their energy. But we need to ejaculate, depending our age. Between 20 to 30 is every 4 days. Between 30 to 40 is every 8 days. Between 40 to 50, it's every 16 days. So it double up like that every 10 years. We need to ejaculate sometime, because all that stored energy over the days, the week, well, when we ejaculate, we are releasing that stored energy, that stagnant energy. And sadly, or it can be also seen as a beautiful pattern of the universe, women are receiving that sexual energy, that those release emotion from men when men ejaculate. So it is very hard to balance a sacral chakra for women, because women, first of all, they're more connected to the pain body, this energy field of trap emotion, this cloudy energy field. Men are more connected to the hamster wheel, the mind, thinking about ideas, future, and so on. So women, they are more in emotion, water. They get triggered, that pain body, every menstruation cycle. Women trap a lot of emotion in the uterus, in the sexual gland. And women receive sexual energy and emotion when men come inside, when men give away sexual energy in sexual intercourse. So there's a lot of baggage that needs to be cleaned there. A lot of emotions are being trapped in the vulva. If we check the genital reflexology, each part of the vulva is linked to an organ. The entrance is the kidneys, the cervix is the heart. So when there's still trapped emotion in those energy centers here, kidneys, physical heart, well, it manifests there also. And most of the time, it's linked to some not pleasant situation in sexual intercourse. So a lot of baggage needs to be cleaned there for women. And for men, it's very different, where we don't really need to deal with those trap emotions there, but it can be very possible. It is possible for men to trap emotion in the genitals, in the testicles, and so on. And we can assess that in the body scan that we're going to do in the later chapters. So to connect with our sacral, we need to start living a creative life. The creative process can be found everywhere. In the simple things, I wake up in the morning and I do breakfast. Well, instead of doing the same breakfast I do every day, I'm going to play around. I'm going to try something new. I'm going to be creative with this. The way I dress, same thing. Instead of wearing the same color matching or the same clothes, I can play with accessories. I try something new. I explore. I bring new ideas. And then I find those ideas outside, maybe in magazine, maybe to talking to friends. This is all the creative process. It can be found in tiny little things. And when we integrate the creative process in our work, in our project, in our human purpose of serving others, then really it's at that point that we embody a strong sacral chakra. But we need to also fully embody our sexuality, because we are sexual beings. So if there's trap emotion linked to sexuality, linked to shame or guilt because of our culture or things like that, or from our teenage years when we started masturbating and hiding because it was not accepted, it was taboo, then we build all those negative emotions towards sexuality. Most of us, we went through this, so we need to release those emotions. We need to start learning about different sexual practice to be confident in our body, to be able to ask what we want, to be able to know what we like, what type of pressure, what type of movement, what type of receiving, and then we can communicate properly in sexual intercourse. So once we embody our sexuality, we use the creative process, we release those emotions, and then we have some expansion in the belly. We're able to really inflate. Like I'm pregnant here, there's no tension, and I can feel there's no tension in my intestine, in my kidneys. Well, it's really at that point that the sacral is healthy, and then we can really use this life force to sublimate up the third eye and use it as a booster, like almost like a Fast and Furious car, and they have this booster, they press on it, and then if I'm using the sacral to sublimate in the third eye, I can have like a boost in my third eye and start seeing like all type of colors or see more clearly. Same thing with other chakras. I can boost my heart with the sublimation of the sexual energy, where I can start feeling even more love. And if I do this while having an orgasm, wow, I can start feeling God even more. It's the ultimate bliss. We are such sexual beings that apparently the ultimate experience in this physical body is to have a soul orgasm. So there's genital orgasm, where most people are having, where we're pumping the genitals. There's full body orgasm, wherein the chakras are aligned, open, and then we're using the breath to sublimate that sexual energy, and we can start vibrating the cells of the body during the orgasm, everywhere, even to the tip of your fingers. And then there's a soul orgasm, where we're able to do this in perfect harmony, in coherence with our partner. The partner is sitting in front in the yum position, and then we're sublimating the sexual energy together. We're building up towards the orgasm, and when we explode together, and there's this kind of like vibration happening outside. It is something that I didn't experience yet, and I'm eager to experience. And it comes with patience, time, practice. It is the ultimate embodiment of an expanded energy field, an aligned inner house, open heart. It is the ultimate experience, rewarding all the inner work that we did on ourselves. I wish it to all of you and to myself too. Thank you so much.